Alrighty, folks, we have an article here from the Epoch Times regarding California launching a hydrogen hub, trying to expand their zero-emission technology. So let's have at it. Authored by Summer Lane from the Epoch Times. So California will have the nation's first so-called hydrogen hub, a network that produces hydrogen for various needs, including powering vehicles and generating electricity. After federal officials announced July 17th, they have signed a $12.6 billion agreement to bring the technology to the state of California, according to the Office of Governor Gavin Newsom. So these grants stem from the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law, which was signed by the president in 2021 and championed by California State Senator Alex Padilla, a Democrat, up there in Sacramento. Okay, so California is leading the nation with the first hydrogen hub to sign a cooperative agreement, and we will continue to lead by decarbonizing goods movement, the energy sector and heavy industry, Mr. Padilla said in a statement on 17th of July. According to the governor's office, the hydrogen hub will facilitate renewable hydrogen production that will cut fossil fuel use throughout California by 2 million metric tons annually. It is projected to create up to 220,000 jobs in California and generate $2.95 billion annually from better health and health cost savings. Per the governor's office. The project is funded by the U.S. Department of Energy and will be carried out by the Alliance for Renewable Clean Hydrogen Energy Systems, known as ARCHES, a state initiative working to accelerate hydrogen projects by building necessary infrastructure. Okay, so it's not clear when the infrastructure for the hub will be complete. ARCHES officials only said that they hope the project helps the state get closer to achieving a carbon neutral economy by 2045. Leaders behind the initiative said they plan to build, as part of the hub, more than 10 sites to produce renewable hydrogen to provide energy for the ports of Long Beach, Oakland, and Los Angeles. Department of Energy's announcement to fund ARCHES is a monumental step forward in the state's efforts to achieve its air quality, climate, and energy goals, while improving the health and well-being of Californians and creating new green jobs across the state, said ARCHES CEO Angelina Galiteva in a statement July 17th. So ARCHES also plans to build more than 60 hydrogen fueling stations for more than 5,000 electric trucks and 1,000 electric buses in cities across California, and to assist the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power and the Northern California Power Agency in transitioning key power plants to hydrogen. A spokeswoman for ARCHES told the Epoch Times that the hydrogen hub project will encompass the entire state of California. In addition to the projects at major state ports, power plants in Northern California, Southern California, and Lancaster, as well as on the federally recognized reservation of the Rincon Band of Luiseno Indians, will all be part of this initiative, she said. The announcement comes after California was also selected in 2023 as the recipient of a $1.2 billion grant from the Department of Energy to accelerate the development of renewable hydrogen. Also on the July 19th, the San Francisco Bay Ferry will launch the world's first ever hydrogen-powered ferry, the Sea Change, for a 6-month demonstration period showcasing zero-emission maritime technology. So we have here an aerial view of the ferry MV Sea Change, the world's first zero-emission hydrogen-powered commercial passenger ferry, navigating San Francisco Bay on the 19th of July, 2024. The governor's office highlighted the achievement as an example of California's leadership in hydrogen-powered transportation innovation in a statement. Okay, end of article. So 2 or 3 things to point out here. Number one, there was a statement here in the beginning. It is projected to create up to 220,000 jobs in California and generates $2.95 billion annually from better health and health cost savings, per the governor's office. It's hard to really contemplate and calculate and forecast and digest those projections because we have several agencies, federal, state. I don't know what kind of consultancy or intern created these projections, but better health and health cost savings is going to save money as opposed to the hydrogen hub itself. So these are net positives, but these are sort of tangential and they're really peripheral. So that's the first thing. The second thing is just a few sentences lower. It says it's not clear when the infrastructure for the hub will be complete. And so these officials for the state agencies only said that they hope the project helps the state get closer to achieving a carbon neutral economy by 2045. So that's interesting. And then they say here that they also plan to build hydrogen fueling stations for electric trucks and electric buses. Um, but there's a disconnect there because are not electric buses and electric trucks using electric charging stations versus hydrogen stations? And then finally, to the projects at major state ports, power plants will be part of this initiative. So specifically, um, hydropower plants. So hydrogen is not hydropower. So there's a bunch of sort of confusing statements in this article between how a job creator and health benefits will create more money in the books because they're actually saving money in a different vertical, which is health. So health costs are down, meaning that there's clean air, as opposed to just creating jobs and creating direct jobs with hydrogen and hydrogen fuel cells. The biggest red flag here, if we can view former case studies in the state of California that receives either state taxpayer funds or certainly federal funds, um, these projects are always delayed, sometimes by decades, and they overshoot their budget, sometimes by multiple figures, could be billions, if not millions for sure. And so there's just no clarity in a lot of these things. And then even at the way bottom of this article, this wonderful photo op for this ferry is only a 6-month trial period. And what's going to happen to this ferry after the 6 months? They need to convert all of the ferries to hydrogen cells to really make an impact. Um, okay, so wanted to offer some opinion on this article, let people know if unfortunately you're stateside, and even more unfortunately if you're in the state of California where your taxes are going, most of these seem to be federal grants. So the state of California's agencies have won out on some of these grants from the federal government, but it seems that these guys uh, don't really understand what hydrogen power plants mean versus hydropower plants. Um, we can't really ask too much from state employees in California to get some of these things right, but we can just hope and hopefully keep them accountable for being able to have this project be on time and under budget, and not burn through these funds and taxpayer money. So some red flags in this article. Just wanted to read this and show what stuck out immediately between the multiple state agencies. No clear timeline. Jobs and money being created, and jobs created and money saved from tangential measurements such as health, as opposed to just creating jobs um, and creating a closed loop economy. And then hydropower plants are not the same as hydrogen plants, but let's see if there's some other science um, being at work in these facilities, which is maybe using hydropower plants today to create hydrogen, to create hydro fuel cells. Let's see. Okay. Looking forward to monitoring how the state of California and these agencies use taxpayer money over there. Have a good day, everybody.